Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Board members, just to let you know, we're recording today's work session. If it behooves you, we will post this along with our board meeting, if that's okay with everybody. If you don't, just kind of let me know afterwards. But I think there's a lot of good information typically in our work sessions, and we certainly want to share that with our stakeholders. I'm going to call to the podium now Mr. Joe Blevins. Mr. Blevins will talk to us about our salary manual. As always, all of our topics are linked to our strategic plan as we continue to try to improve everything that we do. Mr. Blevins, talk to us, please, about our salary schedule manual.
Yes, sir. There's a link there to it, but the current salary schedule manual has been revised, the one that was approved previously. When the board approved the 2% pay increase in August for all staff, excluding the superintendent, then that caused the increase to go. The increase will actually go into effect on October the 1st, so that will be the first day under the new salary schedule. It looks exactly like the old one, except each of the matrices will be a 2% increase across the board. Just for notice to all employees that they'll actually realize this in their pay. For 9-month employees, it's November 30th. So they'll work the month of October. The pay period for October gets paid out at the end of November. Everything's 30 days in arrears for them, except for 12-month employees. We'll actually see it on Halloween this year. So 2% increase starting October 1. Any questions, comments?
There's no need to approve the manual since you've already approved the salary increase. We just wanted to let you know that it's been revised and it's out there. And Mr. Gray, we've already notified employees as to the effect, the time. We might want to send out another memorandum just to remind them. I think 9-month employees might expect it at the end of October when in fact it's going to be the end of November because of the way we pay in arrear.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blevins. I'm going to call Ms. Cherney to the microphone. She is our communications specialist, and she has been doing a fantastic job, and she's going to give you some update on some data. Ms. Cherney.
Alrighty, hello everyone. I just wanted to go over some Facebook data with you all in the areas of reach, following, and content interactions. So as you can see, in June and July, we had a dip in almost all areas. That just is to be expected after having such a great May with all of the celebrations and graduations. But something I did want to point out is our reach is increasing rapidly as of August, which is great. Because in May, we posted 50 times with those numbers, and in August, we posted 26 with those numbers. So I think it was a great August so far, and I think we always have room to improve, but we're trending up, which is great. So.
Can you explain to us the difference between a reach and an interaction?
Absolutely. So reach is the amount of unique users that Facebook is showing our posts. That's determined by the relevance score that their algorithm calculates. The content interactions is an actual like or share of those content. So it's good to have it out there because people, might just scroll past and not like it, but at least it's on their feed and our relevance score is going up, which is great. So, yeah.
Is this central office, school system, Facebook data only? It's not the schools?
It's divided. It's got the city school system, the elementary school, and the middle high school data on there. So a little bit different. I know our elementary school tends to post a lot more than our middle high school. So that's why some of those numbers might look inflated there. But overall, we're trending up, which is great.
Any questions for Ms. Cherney?
No, just separately from the Facebook data, thank you for telling our story. It's obvious, and you're doing a great job. And every event that I'm at, I see you making it happen, and then I see the result of that later on social media. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, the change is phenomenal.
Yeah, communication across the
And,
board.
If I could be a new reacher follower, I would do it every day. So, congratulations, you're doing a great job, and it looks like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And she's done a lot of updating too with the websites and so forth, and I really appreciate all the work that she's done. She put all that stuff out for federal programs once I gave her the information in a matter of a couple of hours. So it's a great resource to have.
Your effort is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And very well noticed.
Thank you all. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. She'll go back to her recording studio. Parents would like to know, Miss Courtney.
Can I speak from here, or, okay. So the Parents' Right to Know Act is a legislative initiative just to allow parents to have more access to the programs and the curricula that we're offering in our schools. And so we want to take just a minute to show you how we're complying to that legislation and to let our families know exactly where they can find that information. It's really 3 parts. The first is the curriculum transparency statement that lets parents know that they have full access. It also gives them, in our statement, links to more information so they can find course of study guides and things like that. The second part is the curricula offerings. So that will let parents know exactly what resources, textbooks we're using in each class that we offer. The third is called a complaint form, and that's what the state mandates that we call it, but really that's not the next step for requesting information. Parents need to know that they can always go to the teacher first, that all resources are listed on each of the syllabi that the teachers give to students on the first day of school, and that really is the first step. You can go online, find out what textbooks, but if you wanted to know about any supplemental materials, all the teachers have those readily available on their syllabus at the start of school. So you just need to email the teacher, they'll send it right back to you. It's no problem. However, the complaint form is there if the parent does not get a response from the teacher, and that's within a reasonable amount of time. You know, we know that teachers aren't they're teaching our kids. They're not sitting at their desk waiting on emails to come in. So within, 24, 48 hours, if they didn't have that response, that's when they then would initiate that form. And the form's not really much of a complaint form. It's just a request form, and that way we'll make sure that it's going to those administrators and that we are all readily available with the information that they need. So where do you find these forms? Will you go to the next
I'm sorry. I was taken aback just a little bit. No particular reason. Yeah.
All of these forms are on the relative parent pages for each school. And so I just posted here where exactly you could find that. It's a drop-down menu where you'll see each of those forms, and they all have active links for how you find each one. So that's it. We are in full compliance.
We think it's necessary that our parent page be protected, and general stakeholders do not have access to this, so there is a pass key there. And this is a request form that parents can complete, but the process does not include the general public, okay? Any questions from Ms. Courtney? This was a big undertaking this summer, and she created some things to begin with to get us in the door, and she's gone back and she's done some updating, so if you've not looked at it lately, and we can certainly make that happen. Any questions? Thank you very much, Ms. Courtney. And we're down to the financials. Mr. Gray, if the board has any questions for you, I know that you'll be glad to take those. Do you have any questions regarding the July financials, the presentation, so forth? Cash flow still seems to be good. We're on target with our budget for FY '24. We'll, of course, have a reading, second and final reading today of FY '25. So, sir, we have no public comments today, and that concludes our work session as far as the information that I have.
Okay, we're finished with the work session. We could either take a 5-minute recess or move right into the meeting.
I need some teachers. Our teachers get here at 12:15.
I think we're going to take a 5-minute recess, and we'll reconvene at about 12:15. At this time, we have Alex Addison that will lead us in the invocation. Alex?
So my plan was just to come here and pray. So I really hope I don't step on any toes. But God kind of burdened my heart on the way here, just about hope, and that there's people here and people in Orange Beach that are placing their hope in alternate identities other than being a follower of Jesus. And God just wanted to let y'all know that if your hope is in anything but Him, it's fragile, and if it doesn't fade before you die, it will die with you. So just place your hope and your identity in Christ. Once again, I hope I don't step on any toes. Could y'all bow y'all's heads in prayer? Lord, thank you for what you're doing in Orange Beach. God, we pray that you just do immeasurably more than we could ask or imagine, God. We believe for that, Lord. God, I pray that you would just protect us from any attacks of the enemy, Lord. God, I pray that you would have your way in Orange Beach, Lord. Let nothing be done that is our will, but your will alone, Lord. All glory be to you, Lord. I pray this in the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. After the pledge, we will have both of these young people to come up to the microphone. At this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order. And we are fortunate to have Libby Pierce that will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. And Libby and her family, the Tierce family, awesome people. She made me feel old when she came in because I've known her for a long time. And I turned around and I said, "Is Libby a senior?" And they said, "Yes." And that's one of those feelings that some of you haven't had yet, but you will start having them as time goes on. Libby, we're glad to have you here. And if you would, at this time, lead us in the pledge.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abby and, that's a combination of Alex and Libby, by the way. Alex and Libby, thank you guys so much for being here. I had a chance to visit with them first day of school, Mr. Shaw, over in their leadership class, and they're both involved in our leadership program. First year ever that we've had one of those at Orange Beach High School. And they've had an outstanding career, and they're both seniors, SGA president and vice president. Alex, why don't you step to the microphone, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing, and then I may ask you some curriculum-type questions, of course.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of fun with SGA. It makes it a lot easier to be able to plan stuff out. But what we're just trying to do with this class is just kind of create a sense of tradition in Orange Beach as students and like ways that we haven't really done before, you know? So we really just want to encourage people to be involved in things, and it's gone so well. Like, there's been so much more involvement in so many different things because of that class, and because like the opportunity to be able to like be with the entire SGA and like every single grade gets a voice that never really happens. So it's really just been great.
So this is your homecoming week. Our
Yes, sir.
coach says it's playoff week, but it's homecoming week. How's that been so far?
It's been awesome. We had Greek life today, as you can see.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the costumes have been awesome. It's been really well planned. I feel like it's just been a great week, and we're just glad to be here.
Academically, you're missing pre-cal right now. I am so sorry. How's academically? How's that been for you so far this year?
It's been good. All AP classes senior year a little bit tough. Miss Nix helps me out though in tutoring every now and then. Should have went to her this morning because.
So your favorite class is math, then, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
favorite class is math.
Of course it is. Very good. Any
Especially
plans for
calculus.
after high school?
I'm going to Auburn. Culinary science, architecture, toying around with majors, but yes, sir.
All right, very good. Miss Libby, if you'll step back up to the microphone, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Libby Tierce. So I've been here since kindergarten, so I've gone to school here for a while, but this is our senior year, and We've been working a lot with SGA this year. The classes helped us out a lot because a lot of people on SGA have really busy schedules, so it's been hard for us to like find meetings during the summertime that everyone could go to. So this class has definitely helped us out, having like a set time every single day to talk and plan
Very
stuff.
good. What was your favorite homecoming activity so far?
The dance, probably. We worked really hard this year to get people to stay longer at the dance. So we did like awards for best dressed, cutest couple, and what was that? Life of the party, and it definitely got people staying longer there. That was one of our main goals. A lot of the years in the past, people left a little bit early, so we wanted people to stay and really enjoy it. And we had a lot of positive feedback from that. So
Yeah. You're also missing math class right now.
yes, sir. Stats
All right.
class.
Anything extracurricular you guys involved in, co-curricular?
I play soccer year round over in Perdido, and then I also play for the school, and then I run cross country.
Very good.
Well, I played football until this year, so I'm not really doing anything except SGA and FCA this year. So.
And you're doing a great job of those things. Thank you so much. Board members, do you have any questions for them? Don't let them off the hook that
I
easily.
have some comments.
I'm very proud of their leadership and their being here today, their willingness.
Well, I just want to brag on them and thank you, because it's exciting to see that what we will have leaving the senior class are two outstanding citizens that are standing right here before you. And we thank you for that. Now, I also want to let some people know that we have some seniors also excelling in the senior prank area. But we won't go into any detail on those, but I just appreciate the effort that you have. And Alex, I know that you've moved in here recently and you've adjusted and assimilated into this class in a great way, and your family's a great addition to this community. And Libby, you guys, you know, like you said, you've been here since kindergarten, and it's a long time, and you're just an awesome individual, both of you, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, number one, thank you both for being here. And I think we let Libby off the hook a little bit. We didn't get any of her plans post-graduation.
Oh, yes, indeed. Sorry.
So I'm undecided on a college right now. I'm still kind of testing the waters with all of them, but I do want to go into nursing and do travel nursing for a while, and then eventually get my CRNA for nursing.
Very good. Anyone else?
I want to know what you said to Castello to get out of his class.
We had a quiz today, so I took it earlier.
Oh,
Once
you've
ag-
already taken it?
Yeah, once
Good
again, I
job.
should have came to
Okay.
you earlier.
I think Libby was in stats.
Yes, I was in stats, so we were just taking notes today, I think, so I didn't miss too much.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Congratulations to you both. Congratulations.
You're doing a great job.
I just want to say, because I've seen Alex in the stands at the football games, and kudos to you, because like the student section, there's a huge
Yeah.
difference this year than years past, and that spirit is contagious. So thanks. I know you contributed a lot to that, so thank you for that. And Libby is more than just a cross-country runner. She's a very, very, very good cross-country runner.
I was wondering where that went to, yeah. She represented this summer, I believe.
Yes, so
Very good. Guys, if you'll join us on stage, board members, if you'll move your chair and assume the position on the wall, please, facing the audience. And we'll get Ms. Cherney in for a photo. Token of our appreciation, you being here today. Let's turn it into 45 on. Let's get in there nice and tight, everyone. Alex and Libby kind of center up on the logo there. There you go. We're pulling it in as much as we can.
She said, "Oh, good."
Thank you guys very much. How about a round of applause?
Ms. Courtney, could we have roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. McKinney?
Here.
Dr. Bauer?
Here.
Ms. Robinson?
here.
Ms. Nix?
Here.
Mr. Stewart?
Here.
We have a quorum, and you've had the agenda that's been posted. The chair would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion in several seconds. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Consideration of the previous minutes. You've had an opportunity to review those. The chair would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Mr. Wilkes, do we have any?
Yes, sir, Mr. Blevins, if you'll approach the podium, please. Recognize our guest.
All right, well, in addition to our regular family and the ones that are going to be recognized today, and we have Miss Misty Payne is with us, and Miss Kathy Wilkes, Miss Jennifer Brownlee, and Mr. Mark Templeton, and Councilman Silvers with us today. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Any public comment?
No, sir.
Announcements.
All right, we're going to begin the announcements section of our meeting today by recognizing some outstanding employees. I think we all know from all the social media posts and from looking at the numbers, the results from our ACAP assessment this past year were truly remarkable. And we have several teachers that are here today. We've got a pair of number one rankings in the room. We have several top 5 in the room. We have some top 10 that are not here today. Thank you, board members, for your vision and having incentives for our employees so that they're recognized for top 5 in the state. And each one of you today, I believe it'll be in the November check. Mr. CSFO? Yes, sir. In your November check, you will see an increase of $1,500. I think some of you might actually fit into more than one category, so you'll receive that accordingly, okay? So I'm going to show you the system rank. I put this out a few weeks ago to all of our staff members and board members. I shared this with you. In our 3rd grade ELA, you see that we ranked 6th in the state. And remember, this is considering 150 school districts and charter schools from across the state. 11th in math, and then in 4th grade ELA was 11th, and in math we were 4th out of 150 and 4th in science. In 5th grade we were 5th place in ELA. In math we were 4th place. In 6th grade, 4th place in ELA and 11th place in math. For whatever reason, we do not have that science data just yet. That's been a reoccurring issue with the results, and I'm not sure, Ms. Law and I spoke about it, why we don't have that data, but if we can get it, we will certainly get it. 7th grade, 6th place in ELA, 1st place in mathematics. 8th grade, we were 12th in ELA, and in math, we were 3rd place, and we were 1st place in science. How about a round of applause for all of those students and teachers? All right, so I'm going to go back to the board meeting. Hopefully it'll pull right back up where it was. Nope, it's going to reset. All right, we're going to bring each group, and there'll be some individuals today. And what I want you to do as you come up, teachers, we don't need to lose anyone today, and I've got cords on my left. So if you'll go up on the stage to my right, board members will move the chairs back. You'll be on the back row, and then teachers, you'll be on the front row. We'll give you a check. It's not a blank check, even though there's no writing on it, okay? But we have someone that can go in and add some graphics to it. So we'll add names and amounts. And so when you look at it on social media, perhaps later this afternoon, you'll actually see your name and that amount, okay? We just weren't going to try to erase it every time. We weren't going to buy big checks for everybody, okay? Though you're getting a big check. All right, so I need up on stage right now, this is 4th grade math, and we need Ms. Bradford, Ms. Hagege, and Ms. Wilkes up on stage for our first photo. We'll just give it up front, center it right there, Ms. Hagee, give Ms. Wilkes, you guys hold on either side. Just don't put your finger over in the line, so we're right on the outside. Miss Shannon, you see? Good. Miss Shannon, just stand on tippy toes.
She doesn't like that. See how we need to be seen.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Big round of applause, please. Thank you. Ms. Hagege, if you'll stay up on stage, and Ms. Walker, if you will join this fourth place in science in the state. Ms. Walker. Okay, you guys.
No, I like her height.
Center. Thank you. Big round of applause, please. Fifth grade math, fourth in the state, Miss Rayburn and Miss Middleton. If you will join us on stage, please. Big round of applause, please. Fifth grade ELA, fifth in the state, Miss Morgan, Miss Dorr, Miss Lawrence, and Miss Middleton, please. And by the way, Mr. Gray corrected me and said it would actually be in this month's check, end of September. So thank you for whatever you just did, the magic you worked. Okay? Congratulations.
She'll tell us.
She will indeed.
There you go. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Very good. Nice round of applause, please. Sixth grade ELA, fourth in the state, Miss Kistler, Miss Cardwell, and Miss Middleton. Recurring theme there. You're taking this all out to dinner.
Right? We'll get a lunch.
Miss Kistler, you may have to stand on your tiptoes. There you go. Hold it tight. There you go.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Big round of applause one more time. All right, I've not missed any elementary. I got the elementary. Okay. Miss Robinson, come up on stage. First place, seventh grade math in the state of Alabama, second year in a row. You get the spotlight all to yourself.
Could you just scoot this way, just here, right there?
How about that? You want me behind it, or can you?
Yeah, you can. How
Stand on your
about-
tippy toes.
There we go. Okay. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Super, nice round of applause.
Yeah, I didn't put my hands on the sign, I was thinking, you should put these hands for a little thing.
Eighth grade math, third in the state, Miss Ellen Estes. Great job. Super. And last but certainly not least, eighth grade science, first in the state, Miss Brooke Neal. Having a bad hair day.
Got a few snakes. Am I blocking everybody's face?
Get up over the snakes, the antlers. All right, congratulations. Well, probably shouldn't have done that. Mr. McKinney, the second item that we have,
Can I comment on that?
Yes,
What we just
please.
did? I wanted, before you guys walk out the door, I want you to hear this. Most schools are extremely interested in having championship sports teams and kind of forget about academics. I just want you to know that this board is very concerned about academics. We are wanting to support you. We want to have a championship academic school because I can assure you we can help 100% of the students in this school with good academics. So I appreciate the effort. We appreciate the effort. All we've asked Mr. Wilkes to do early on in this process, we don't want a good teacher in every classroom. We don't want a mediocre teacher in every classroom. We want an outstanding teacher in every classroom. And I'm going to tell you, that's our goal. And you guys are doing that job. And we appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I'd like to extend some congratulations to our board members today. Mr. McKinney, if you want to do this awarding of this, we have Dr. Nelson Bauer and Miss Lisa Nix and Miss Shannon Robinson. They have achieved level 1 status per the School Board Member Academy. Thank you so much for your commitment. Round of applause, please. Photo opportunity? That's the reason. So I probably should have moved the chairs back.
I'm not level 1.
You're far beyond that. You're level 3.
I get to always be by Shannon.
Congratulations, guys.
Did we get a blank check?
Yes, ma'am. It's been blank for a while.
That's the problem.
Item number 3, I'd just like to remind the board members of our whole board training on the 16th, 8 a.m. until 2 p.m., 6 hours. We'll be in the Mako Way Conference Room of Central Office. Communication style, I think we'll discuss first, then we'll look at ACT gaps and chronic absenteeism. So it'd be a great opportunity. Make sure that you completed the food form. So we have you will
I
need a
just
meal
did, as a matter
over
of
that period of time, okay?
That prime rib with lobster looks fantastic.
I think more like turkey sandwich.
I know we have done this on social media, but I want to recognize every chance we get all the grants that we receive. And a little over 2 years' time, our school system, there are about 9 or 10 of us that have been writing grants for our school system, and we have received $5.5 million in excess of that amount by way of grant. And one of our largest grants was that of the GOMESA, I think is the way they pronounce that application. And whereas we will be able to renovate CSAN and STARS with those funds, $980,000 almost by way of grant. And so that was a tremendous undertaking. I want to formally thank Ms. Courtney. She wrote the grant there and did a great job. Of course, we did a lot of groundwork with Wilderness Graphics, with the concept plan. And when you look at the application, there was a lot of just plug and play, and she made some really nice words, dressed it up very nicely, and they liked it so much that they fully funded the request. Any questions or comments regarding that?
I would just like to echo what you said. Thank you so much, Ms. Courtney, and you, Mr. Wilkes, and also to Nicole Warner with the city for her
Yeah.
help as an administrator.
We were going to mention that Nicole really helped, that she had written that grant before, and I appreciate all that she did to help get that off the ground. Okay, very good. We've got some important dates out there. Of course, we've got the tailgate tomorrow at the Orange Beach Sportsplex. That start time is around 4:30.
Until
So
6:30.
4:30 until 6:30. And so come join us. We have a faculty and staff tent, and love to have you there. I think we've got the grill sergeants who will be grilling, and you just bring whatever you'd like and a place to sit. You'll need some chairs if you want to sit, okay? And of course, we've got the homecoming game later that night against WS Neal. Fall break for our students on the 10th through the 11th. Our staff, we have professional development on the 10th, but they'll be off on the 11th, most of them. And November the 19th, excited about this, Parents' Day at the middle and high school. Then on the 20th through the 21st, we've got OBES Parents' Day. Looking forward to that. Out in the future, we'll have our first ever Showcase of the Arts in March, prom in March, and graduation will be here sooner than you think. Any questions about any of those dates? Mr. McKinney, that's all I have by way of announcements.
Okay, we'll move on to item 10, action items. First one, please.
The superintendent recommends the approval of the FY25 budget as presented. This is a second and final reading of FY 2025. If we receive a first and a second, we'll certainly be able to ask Mr. Gray any questions, and if the board so desires, he can go through the entire presentation, or he does not have to. It's whatever the board desires at that point in time. So that is the recommendation of the superintendent.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Ms. Nix, second by Dr. Bauer. We're up for discussion. How many of you want to hear line by line on this budget request?
I do not.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm sensing that the
I
board,
did read it
do
line
you
by
have any
line.
questions?
Mr. Gray, will you comment just briefly on what the public is allowed to do and the fact that you've had no submittals regarding the budget?
Yes, sir. So we've had 30 days since our last, which I think the state requires like 10, so we're well over that. The budget itself and all documents are now, thank you, Ms. Cherney, on the school website under the new finance tab. So if there's anything that they need to see, they can still do that. That response form is still there for them to submit to me with my contact information if they so desire.
But you've not had any to date?
I have had no response forms submitted to date.
Thank you. Any further
I have
questions?
a
Okay, go ahead,
question that's
Robert.
not about the budget, but it is financial, so I'll come back to it after we close this item out.
Okay. I sense that you're ready to vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, the motion carries. Thank you.
So the money that we were initially going to use for CSAN and STARS, now we have the new money for CSAN and STARS. So what will we do with the original money?
So the original budget had included painting, flooring, and HVAC. They're going to allow us to reutilize some of the monies, I think it was after August 1, really? Like, yeah, July 31st. So we'll be able to count some of that. That will just create a little surplus.
Like a reserve.
In reserve, so we will not utilize that. We'll still expend the full $980,000. We've looked at some things in some of those areas, whereas we did the work before July 1 that we cannot get back. We'll probably spruce up a couple of those areas that were a little bit void of activity. For instance, they've got this Draw Alive that the CSAN and STARS teachers really like, that incorporates the arts into the learning center by taking and coloring various a seahorse, a manatee, something out of the jungle, and they scan it, and their drawing, just like they've drawn it, comes to life and swims in the aquarium, plays in the jungle kind of thing. New Orleans has one in their aquarium setting. So we'll spruce up some of those areas, Mr. Stewart, but by and large, we probably, I'm going to guess, we had $80,000 budgeted for that, and we didn't come close to expending all that by the time we take some of those items out.
Okay, good.
And
I
continuing,
like reserves. Anytime we can put money in reserves, that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
continuing on with his subject, there was zero matching funds, correct, for that?
There
COMESA?
was,
There
yeah.
was. Okay.
There were no matching funds in the grant. And that's a good point to make. That's a good grant to get.
Yes.
Though we have matching funds, we would come up with some.
Any other discussion on that? Seeing none, item 2, personnel.
Superintendent recommends approval of the following personnel recommendations. I'll ask if there are any set-asides.
Nope, I don't see.
We have resignation of certified employees for the 24-25 school year. We have resignation of classified employees for the 24-25 school year, and we have an employment recommendation for the 24-25 school year.
You've had an opportunity to see those posted. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Mr. Stewart. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There is no opposition, the motion carries.
I'm sorry. I didn't, aye. No.
I heard you think it.
I was, it was real loud in my mind.
All right, thank you. Occupation therapy contract.
Superintendent recommends board approval of the attached contracts for occupational therapy services to Alexander Therapy LLC and speech and physical therapy services to All Talk LLC. If we receive a first and second, I'd have just a short comment or two.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Robinson. Discussion.
All Talk formerly had our occupational therapy services contract. All Talk is no longer able to provide those services. Ms. Alexander worked for All Talk. So what you're going to see is a release of, what is the word used for penalty for services?
No compete.
No compete, thank you, could not come to my mind, would not come to mind. So there is a statement there that they're releasing her of that no compete clause, and All Talk has redrafted their agreement to exclude occupational therapy. Ms. Alexander, who has been providing us that, will continue those services, but under her own contract.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Hearing no opposition, the motion carries. Board policies number 4.
Superintendent recommends the approval of following board policies as attached: graduation and commencement, employee gifts, code of conduct, teacher bill of rights, distribution of explicit images. This is the second and final reading of all of the aforementioned.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stewart, no, motion by Ms. Nick, second by Mr. Stewart. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries with no opposition. Item 5, player development job description.
Superintendent Wilkes recommends the board approval of the attached job description of Director of Player Development.
Had an opportunity to review that. Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Mr. Stewart. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries with no opposition. Capital Plan FY '25.
The superintendent recommends approval of the Orange Beach City Schools capital plan for FY '25. If it behooves the board at the appropriate time, I can comment on that if you so desire.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Mr. Stewart. You may comment, please.
I'm going to open the capital plan in the Google Sheet. It's a little bit easier to read. Basically, there's very little change from last year. You know from previous capital plans that this is fluid. It's not necessarily in any order. The state mandates that we have at least 10 items on this 5-year plan, and it is a 5-year plan. We have to kind of estimate numbers and pick fiscal years for the monies to come out of. Again, it's all subject to board approval. So we basically have to fill those blanks. The first 4 are all relative to the athletic complex, things that we're already doing. You have to include those as long as within that fiscal year, those activities are going to continue to, funding will be provided for that. So we have to include that. Hopefully, it will not be on next year's fiscal plan, okay? I know. CTE labs, that's item number 5. We hope to one day expand our CTE programs, and we need some laboratory space. The fire alarm system at the elementary school, we still have some work to do down there, so we kept that on there. Central office is really not an issue, but we needed something to fill a spot. So we're doing quite well with the additions that we've done and made. We kept that on there just to hold a spot. If there ever is a need for an additional gym or really classroom space, we'd need to build the gym first. Have the elementary gym completed, go into the old elementary gym, convert it into classrooms. That's kind of always been the plan since we came on board. It's still there, okay? That conversion of gym to classrooms would come after the new gym is built. Just makes sense to do it that way. And just some classroom expansions. Perhaps if our numbers were to ever grow, we might have to add some classrooms 4 or 5 years from now to the middle and high school. Could include some specialty areas, such as electives and so forth. Any questions about any of the capital plan?
No.
There are numbers down at the bottom that I put to that, but they're estimates. And in this economy, it's almost impossible to peg what those numbers would look like.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries with no opposition. Item 7.
The superintendent recommends board approval of the following plans for our fiscal year 2025. You've got a 163-page consolidated plan for federal programs. You've got an English language learners plan. There's a foster care plan. There are 2 plans there underneath emergency operations, one for OBES and one for OBMHS. This is so that we are in compliance when the state comes and visits us in April. And it's good to have these plans.
The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Robinson. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There's no opposition, the motion carries. Item 8.
The superintendent recommends board approval of the financial statements that are attached.
Chair would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stewart, second by Ms. Nix. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. No opposition. Item 9.
The superintendent recommends board approval of custodial service bid to Advanced Super Clean in the amount of $84,150. If we receive a first and a second, I have a brief comment.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Dr. Bauer. Mr. Wilks.
We awarded this originally to a different company, and Mr. Blevins, I guess they began in August. And that original company, the quality of cleaning was not sufficient. And we had several discussions with that group, and we're just to a point where we cannot jeopardize a safe learning environment, a clean learning environment. And so what we're asking you to do now, we've already sent the letter stating that we're no longer going to utilize their services. All this is in accordance to the original bid. Mr. Blevins has listed there for us the bid tabulation sheet, and you will see this is the second company. This company had the services at the end of school last year, and we were very satisfied. They just were not simply the lowest bid.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, none. The motion carries. We're down to item 11. Ms. Courtney, may I have that resolution? Please. I am recommending for approval a resolution. It's 2024-005. Whereas the superintendent has led the district to achieve top scores in the state for the past school year, demonstrating exceptional leadership and dedication to academic excellence. And whereas for the 23-24 school year, state data shows evidence that all of our third graders are reading at or above grade level, making us the only school in the state to achieve this remarkable milestone. And whereas the district attained Cognia accreditation with a remarkable score of 329 in less than 2 years, a testament to the superintendent's commitment to excellence and continuous improvement. And whereas the district's first independent audit review received the highest possible rating, reflecting sound financial management under the superintendent's leadership, and whereas Orange Beach City Schools has been awarded over $5.5 million in grant aid, including funding for the revitalization of Sea, Sand, and Stars, further supporting our educational initiatives and programs. And whereas overseeing multiple construction projects is crucial as it reflects the increased demand on his time to fulfill his duties. These projects include the expansion and renovation of the elementary school in phases 1 and 2, the renovations and upgrades at the central office, and most recently, the construction oversight of the new athletic complex. With the total cost of these projects exceeding $53 million, these projects further demonstrate a strong commitment to enhancing our facilities and resources and his ability to manage and oversee the projects from concept to completion. And whereas Orange Beach Elementary School was named a Best Elementary School by U.S. News and World Report, a Class School of Distinction, and an Ocean Guardian School, recognizing its outstanding educational environment and commitment to environmental stewardship. And whereas Orange Beach Middle and High School was named an A+ School of Excellence and School of Distinction, an Alabama Purple Heart School, and earned an AP Honor Roll Bronze Medal, reflecting its academic excellence and support for military families. And whereas Superintendent Wilks was inducted into the Superintendent Circle of Distinction by the School Superintendents of Alabama organization, a prestigious recognition of his exemplary leadership and service. And whereas Superintendent Wilks has assembled an outstanding team comprising members of the Central Office, Orange Beach Elementary School, and Orange Beach Middle and High School to ensure the continuous improvement of our educational environment. And whereas a review of Superintendent Wilks conducted by Cofield Consulting, an independent firm, complimented him for his exceptional leadership during the separation process, noting his ability to effectively position the system for future success in such an incredibly short amount of time, a feat likely never accomplished before, and recognized his outstanding performance. The implementation of effective procedural structures and the development of a comprehensive strategic plan that aligns with Cognia accreditation goals. And be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education hereby recommends a 2-year extension, extending the superintendent's contract in recognition of these significant achievements and continued commitment to the success of our school district. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Superintendent Wilkes as a token of our appreciation and admiration for his exemplary achievements. I'm making a recommendation. I'm making that recommendation. The chair would entertain a motion and a second.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Have a motion to adopt by Dr. Bauer,
Second.
second by Ms. Nix. Discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
You want us just to go in order?
Let's vote and then discuss, or comment, because your discussion is probably more comments.
Yes.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, congratulations. Discussion, comments?
Don't take all mine. I said, don't take all mine.
All right.
I'll start. Oh, go ahead.
Just how do you want us to go this way? All the way, just work through, or?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Well, I think the most important thing for me is to, that Mr. Wilkes has demonstrated outstanding leadership, especially when faced with adversity. And to me, that's the true measure, is when things get difficult. When we were deciding on a superintendent, one of the things that stuck out to me was not only was he announced as Superintendent of the Year in 2018, but he was voted on by 130 of his peers. That tells you something. And one of the things that was highlighted in there was the fact that in his previous school, the graduation rate was raised in 2013 from 63% to 96% in 2017. So I say that to move on. Some of the things that we've talked about today are a reflection of that leadership that was at a previous school that's being shown here. We saw the state rankings from math and science in the top 5. All right, we saw the ranking for ELA in the top 10. We saw Cognia accreditation in 2 years. We saw attendance improvements. We've seen communication improvements. We've seen leadership, especially during such a crazy transition. And then you couple that with momentum in programs like national boards. I love our trajectory, and that is a testament to Mr. Wilkes' leadership.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, all of that, and I think we do a pretty good job of announcing the accolades and so forth. What isn't always seen behind the scenes is the work ethic. Whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, if there's ever anything, he takes care of it. What isn't always seen is sometimes what we put you through behind the scenes, and how well you handle that and immediately adapt. I think that you've done a very, very good job of responding to the board's requests, the strategic plans, things as far as that go immediately. And that's something that's not always easy to do, especially when you've been doing something a certain way for so long. So kudos to that. Thank you for moving us so far in our strategic plan. I think that's.
So that's why I wanted to go first, because they'll steal everything that you would want to say. But I just want everybody to know that no matter what I have a question about, he takes the time to make me feel like I'm heard, that I'm important, that the board is important. If he doesn't know the answer right now, he's going to get back to you. But I'm going to tell you, out of almost everything I've ever asked this man, I don't even know if there's ever been a time that he didn't have an answer. And I told him one day, I don't know how he keeps all these facts in his head, how he knows about every single thing that's going on. It's not like, oh, okay, well, you guys take the construction and you guys take the academics, and it's everything. You can ask him anything about, what was our rank here? How much are we spending on this, on the athletic complex, whatever, and he can usually just pull it right out of his head. And that's amazing to me, and that shows that his work ethic is incredible. He's not just looking at stuff, he knows what's going on in our school system, and we are so appreciative of that.
So I'll ditto everything said before me. That way I don't have to bore you with repeating it all. But put yourself in a situation where, you've got 90 days to create a school system, So you really need on that front end, that first superintendent hire is a critical hire because you have that hump or humps to get over. And that's just getting to opening school up, right? So then you take into account everything that's listed on the resolution. I mean, it's a phenomenal job. But also with much is given, much is expected, right? And so there seems to be a few nagging things that I know that we're going to solve, and it's kind of like things that I hear the most about, right? And some of the things, and like the two, like a reoccurring one. Well, first of all, today's a great testament of the teachers we have. And you look over at the elementary school. Wow. The leadership, the teachers, the support, central office, outstanding, right? Middle school, high school, it's tough. It's a new school. It brings new school problems. But, we've got to get a handle on the schedule. The schedule, like every year seems to be, it's like, you want to start off something strong and great and well. And I'm not placing anything anyway. I'm just saying things that would help us get to a happy place, I think, with everybody else, with all the, what do we call them, policy holders?
Stakeholders.
What is it? Stakeholders. The other thing, and it seems like that it's more at the high school, middle school, but our turnover rate, I know since we released our turnover numbers, we had I think 3 resignations right there. And so, and I know overall our rate is great, but it seems like one's always more than the other. So I would just like for us to identify that. If there's anything that the board can do to help with that, I say let's do it. But really, you could sit here, but what does it take? What does it take to do what Mr. Wilkes has done? It takes someone with a strong constitution. It takes someone with a strong work ethic, right? And I believe that's what we have. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And I look forward to the next, let's see, it'll be 3 years then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to make a comment too, because I give him a hard time, mostly in jest. Y'all understand that? You understand that, don't you?
Somewhat. No, I do.
But the thing I like about, there are a lot of things I like about Mr. Wilkes, but I do a lot of studying on leadership. And Nelson and I have been talking about that lately. He said, you're just a John Maxwell guy. I said, I like John Maxwell.
I do too.
And I said, as a matter of fact, I don't even know how many of his books I have. So I started looking in my library, and I started pulling down all of my John Maxwell leadership books. I've got over 30 of them. So I've read John Maxwell and almost, not everything he's written, because he's close to 100 books, and I know I haven't read 100 books by John Maxwell. But when I look at those books on leadership, your name isn't in them, but the description of you is in them. And I really appreciate the effort that you put into this organization. I called him one time and I said, Randy, where are you? He said, I'm at the office. Why? I said, well, I just drove by and saw your truck there. And this is on a weekend day. I said, I was just trying to make sure you weren't just parking your truck up there over the weekend so we think you're working. But he was really there. He's working. He works a lot, especially in the organization of this system. There were so many hours he put into it. And Kathy, I want to thank you because it takes two. It takes the support from the home. Thank you. This resolution is something that you have earned. It is not a gift. The extension is something you have earned. It is not a gift. And we just thank you so much for your effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess it's a photo op.
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if I say a few things first?
I don't know.
I know it's long.
Yes, sir, you may.
So board members, I appreciate, we do, Kathy and I both do this very, very much. I want to come back to you in just a moment. You stole some of my thunder, too. I owe the greatest thanks to Kathy, who is my partner in life. She is everything I'm not. She's fun. She's exciting. She's full of life. She is the life of the party.
Pretty. Don't forget pretty.
And beautiful. And she has been with me through thick and thin. Our first superintendency was an elected superintendency. And she was much more electable than I was, to say the least. And she put a lot of time and effort into that. And then when I went to Amos, as we call it, at my old school system, and it's no longer my old school system, it's, there were 3 years, toughest 3 years probably, some of the toughest in our lives, where there was a separation during the week. And then, of course, coming down here and getting acclimated and getting settled in, it's just, you're tremendous, and I love you very much. Thank you for everything. Board members, it all starts with you. You had a plan before I arrived, and I had to figure out where I was going to fit into that plan. And it was, there was a lot of drinking water out of the fire hydrant, but you had the vision, you had the mission. We sat down and talked about being a top 10 school system in the state. I think that has since changed. We want to be the very best. And that was a tall order. And our teachers and our students, our staff, they've just done a tremendous job. They have been so open, so receptive. I sat at a data meeting yesterday, and I walked the halls yesterday. The collective efficacy is out of the roof. What we're doing in the classroom, second to none. We have people from all over the state wanting to come now and visit our classrooms to see what we're doing. Our people are phenomenal. We do a better job in our school system of establishing relationships with students than anywhere I've ever been. This is my 36th year, and our people do a tremendous job. So we've got great support with the city. We've got great support with our parents. There are a lot of people, though, sitting in this room today that have hung in there with us and have been able to accomplish so much. We've got great leadership at the schools, but at central office, it's phenomenal. Sometimes I actually take a break, but I laughed so hard the other day. We're not going to tell them how and why, but I cried. It was so funny. I'll get a chance to share that with them on Monday, don't you think, for whole board training? If there's an odd chair sitting in the room, don't sit in it, okay? But they're phenomenal. And the experience that we brought to the table as far as central office when we all arrived was Mr. Blevins. That was the only experience we had besides myself in the office. So I say that to say all those accomplishments have been an absolute team effort. And the most credit of anyone for anything that's been accomplished, that's been done, it's only been by the grace of God. And I listened to Yvonne Noble years ago, and this is not my retirement speech, but she said this during her retirement speech, and it was just very simply and eloquently put, to God be the glory. And whatever we do in our school system, if it doesn't bring glory, we shouldn't be doing it. And all those things and all the things we're going to do in the future. Just very simply put, to God be the glory. Thank you so very much. Photo?
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Any discussion items? Item 12?
There are none, sir.
That moves us to our executive session, which we will have one.
May I mention the next meeting?
Yes, please.
We had a discussion regarding the next meeting, and it falls on the same night that there are a lot of activities in and outside of town. In particular, my high school is hosting a football game here on that particular night. So what the board, I think, would like to do is move that meeting to noon on that day and conduct it just like we did this meeting in this location. We need to check and make sure that it's available. But at noon, so we'll have a work session, it'll be longer than today's, and then we'll immediately go into the meeting right after that, if that's okay with the board.
Yes.
So it's October the 10th at 12 noon is our next meeting.
And you said 12 minutes.
Yes, sir. Mhm. And we do need executive session.
So the chair would entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by, was that Ms. Nix?
Yes.
Okay. And so, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. We will go into executive session. How long do you estimate that?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Then we will
Will we reconvene?
reconvene right here.
Reconvene only to
Only to
adjourn, but there's
adjourn.
no action to be followed. Thank you, there.
Thank you for coming. Do we have a motion on the reconvene? I think we do, don't we?
I'll make a motion.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Stewart, second by,
Lisa?
Second.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Being no further business, now the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Robinson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Actually.